Friends, this is Dwarika from aboutqa.com. Today we are just going to see how to use contains and starts with function in XPath. So most of the time we face some of the scenario while writing XPath that value of any of the attribute, either it is id, name, class, or any of the attribute, are having a pattern of string, and most of the time these attributes values are changing, but all the attribute changes are having a similar kind of pattern. Either few of the characters at the initial of each attributes values are matching, or there will be one string pattern that will be matching in all of the web element, similar web elements. Like suppose we are talking about the 10 buttons, and we see that all the 10 buttons are going to have id attributes value button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, button 5. It means we are having one similar pattern between all the id attributes of those specific buttons available on the web page, and all the buttons are having value of their id attribute button common in all of the buttons. So how we are just going to figure out, or how we are just going to write XPath for such kind of scenario where we need more flexibility in finding web elements those are having a pattern in attributes value. So let's see the example. In the same fashion, contains is also going to help us out, where it help us to find out some of the string pattern those are available in the attributes value, and it starts with also match the pattern, but it match the string pattern in the beginning of any of the attributes value. So let's see how it normally works. So let me open the google.com, where we will just check the XPath, and we will also figure out whether those XPaths are correct or not. So let me open google.com. So here I just want to find out Google search, and and apart from this button there is one more button, I am feeling lucky. So let's inspect these elements one after another. So I am just inspecting Google search button. Okay, so here we can see that HTML code is going to have input tag. It means this is going to take some input from user side, and here we have so many of the attributes like value, area label, name, type, and JSection attributes. And these all attributes are going to have some value assigned to each of these attributes. In the same fashion, if we are just going to inspect I am feeling lucky, then here again we are seeing the same kind of attributes are coming in I am feeling lucky button as well. So if we are just going to do some analysis in these two buttons, okay, then here in name attribute we can see that name attributes value is going to start with bt and k, means button k. We can just sound it like this, button k, and this name attribute is going to have bt and I. It means if we are just going to opt name attribute and just going to take the value button k, then it is going to uh, give us the Google search button. So let's see a generic generic XPath that we normally use to figure out any of the web element. So to test whether these XPath that we are just going to write are correct or not, so for the same, just inspect the element, click the ESC, then this console section will open. Write $x. $x means this is going to check the XPath. Use the parenthesis, and inside this uh, put double quote, and inside this double quote whatever the XPath you have just figure out, just write them here. So here the XPath for Google search will be double slash input, means we are searching all the inputs. Those are going to have name attributes, name attribute with value button k. So like we all are familiar that whenever we are just going to match any of the attribute, then we used to write at the rate name equal to, inside single quote I'm just going to write btnk, sorry, caps k. Okay, and if we are just hitting enter, then we can just see that it is returning the Google search button. It means this XPath is correct. But what if uh, we need to figure out all the buttons those are going to have attributes value with initial btn string pattern? In that case we need to use a function starts with in XPath. So let's see how we are just going to figure out all the buttons those are having btn string pattern at the beginning of their attributes value. So here I'm just going to make some changes in this XPath that we have previously written. So again we are just going to figure out all the buttons, means all the input tags, those are going to have a pattern matching, and that pattern matching is going to be handled out with the function starts with. So I'm just going to write starts with function. Since it is a function, so again it will take parenthesis, and again inside this parenthesis it is going to take two of the parameter. One is the attribute name and second one is the value, and that value is going to have certain pattern of the string. Those are coming at the beginning of attributes value. So here we have just seen that we were just using name attribute. So I'm just going to write at the rate name, very first parameter, and second parameter is the pattern. So in single quote we are just going to take the pattern btn, and these btn string is coming in these two buttons one after another if we are just going to uh, inspect these elements. So I'm just going to write btn. This function is now complete. Now we are just going to place the closing square bracket, and now we are just going to hit enter, and as per our understanding this XPath is going to return these two buttons. One is Google search and second one is I am feeling lucky. So let's see. So here you can see if I'm hovering on these outputs, if I'm just going to the very first line of the output, then it is highlighting Google search button, and at the same time if I am just going to the second line of this output, then we are just seeing that it is highlighting I am feeling lucky. It means we have just written a correct XPath. Those are going to bring all the web elements, those are going to have a pattern of string at the beginning of any of the attributes value. So here we have just used at the rate name attribute. Might be you are just going to use id or class or some other attributes, so it will work in that case. So this was the starts with function. Now how we are just going to use contains function. So like if we are just going to investigate in these two line of the HTML, those are presenting Google search button and I am feeling lucky, and in this we are just going to search a pattern, those are common in both, but neither it is at the beginning or in, might be it will be at the beginning or might be it will be within the string in the middle, or it will be available at the end of the attributes value. So contains method is going to figure out only the pattern of string, and it is not going to care about where it is coming. It is just going to figure out that pattern for a specific attribute and it will bring all the web elements. So in these two, if I am just going to, for timing I am just taking btnk and btni, and if I say like we need to search all the web elements those are having the value for its name attribute uh, with string pattern tn. So tn is common, but this tn is coming in between this, it is coming in the middle of these b and k or b and I. So it will bring, it will match this pattern, and if these pattern match in this, then it will bring all the web elements. So let's see how we are just going to write the contains function. So in place of, so in place of starts with, I have just replaced it with the contains, and other thing will be remain same, because this contains method is also going to take two parameter. First parameter will be the attributes name and second parameter will be the pattern of string, which we are just going to use to fetch the web element. So if I am just going to hit enter, then it is going to bring again these two web elements. So now it is pretty clear that how these two starts with and contains method can be used in XPath. So suppose sometime we need to figure out all the elements on any web page, then I think this will really help us out to uh, write a XPath with the flexibility to interact with one or more than one web element. Those are having some attribute values with certain string pattern. So that's all friends, thank you for watching, and if you like this video then just like or subscribe this video on the YouTube. Thank you.